podcast. I'm your host, Thierry, with my fellow host, co-host, Killian. Honestly, this is just a sports podcast. Talk about anything and everything sports, primarily focused on basketball and hockey because that's our two biggest passions, if you couldn't tell by looking at us. So, first off,
you got this baseball thing going on behind you.
Yeah, that's just for show. That's just for show, you know. When the girls come over, they see the the Blue Jays, you know. I don't fuck with the Blue Jays. I found that somewhere. That's like my dad's old flag, but you know it looks nice, so we hung it up in here. You got a nice poster behind yourself too.
It's 3 goats in one area, you know.
Oh, 3 goats.
Yes, sir.
So your goat is not the goat?
I'm the goat.
All right. Anyway, so obviously, world of the NBA, the biggest news going on right now has been the whole James Harden and Brooklyn Nets situation and everything surrounding that. And there's a lot of moving pieces to that, obviously. So I thought we'd kind of go into the initial trade. Don't have all the moving pieces in front of me, but if I remember correctly, it was a 4-team trade. We had Cleveland, Indiana, Brooklyn, and the Rockets, obviously.
Yeah.
Rockets come away with Victor Oladipo, 4 first-round picks, right? And then 4 pick swaps.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not really sure how much pick swaps really matter, if they do or if they don't.
I mean, they do when comes draft time, but
do those apply first and second round? Is it any round?
I don't know if they agreed on that yet.
Oh, that's kind of figure out the details.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so and then the Pacers come away with LeVert and Houston second round pick.
Exactly.
Obviously, the main piece being LeVert himself.
Which sucks because he got
we'll get into that.
Kidney or something.
We'll get into that. So, then obviously we got the Nets. They come away with Harden, and then I don't know if they got a pick or something as well. But
no, I think that's how they got.
Yeah, but Harden's the main piece, obviously, and then Cleveland. Actually, Houston got someone else too. Didn't they get Exum as well? I think, right? They got Oladipo. Did Exum go to Cleveland? Exum might have went to Cleveland.
He's from Cleveland.
Oh, he's from Cleveland, so he went to the Rockets then.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So, and then Allen ends up in Cleveland. So, we might be missing a few parts of the trade, but obviously we all know what the major part of the trade is and what people are mostly interested in. So, I mean, I guess let's leave the Nets for last. I mean, we could start off with who I think is the most boring part of the trade, but that's still, I mean, good for them, is Cleveland getting Jared Allen. I know there's memes going around of them trying to build a wall with all the bigs.
That's bro. They already had Andre Drummond.
I mean, apparently there's talks about him getting traded. So.
Andre Drummond?
Yeah. Apparently he's trade bait or something, but I don't know if there's truth to that or not.
That's also going to be a blockbuster trade.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So. How you feeling about the Jared Allen though? How you feeling about them receiving Jared Allen? Does that make them better? Does it make a difference? Is it just good for them?
I mean, I can't even lie to you. I like the way Cleveland started the season. They had a really good young core. Colin Sexton and who's the other guy? I forgot what the other guy's name, but they also got a nice small forward called Isaac Okoro or something.
Mm-hmm.
He just got drafted this year. They had a really good team. They started the season really nice. I think they're 5th in the East right now. No. But I think Jared Allen, I don't think it was a good idea, personally.
Yeah.
Because I thought Andre Drummond was doing work. Bro, he dropped 33 and 23 last week. He was doing fine. And now we're adding Jared Allen.
Yeah. I mean, if they trade him away, I guess it will make sense in the end. But maybe for now, it's a little bit of a weird trade.
Do you think they should trade them?
I mean, he's a little bit older. He could be a piece for another team, and Cleveland's not doing anything. I mean, I think they should get Kevin Love out of there, for sure.
I think Kevin Love needs to get the fuck out.
Kevin Love needs to get the hell out of there, bro. He's not doing nothing over there, man. He came over there for LeBron and Kyrie, and those two big gone. They left him behind. He's been rotting away over there. I mean, I don't know what he's.
Where would Andre Drummond go, bro?
Huh?
Where would Andre Drummond go?
I don't know. What's a team that needs a center in the league right now? A center like Drummond.
Like a team that could compete for a championship.
Yeah, that can compete for a championship, or maybe like Drummond gets them into the playoffs. Like instead of like being on the outside, they're on the inside. You know, would Drummond be like? I'm not saying that he's gonna go to this team. I'm just like kind of throwing stuff out there. Would he be an upgrade over someone like Biyombo?
Yeah, but Biyombo comes off the bench, doesn't he?
No, Biyombo's a starter.
Yeah, but they got PJ Washington coming out the bench. So yeah, I'd give up Biyombo for Drummond, but that's a tough trade too.
Yeah, I mean, what you're thinking is like there's no like he may be a slight upgrade on someone, but like not an upgrade that's actually like why would you make that trade? You know, why would you like break the chemistry to add him in type deal?
Exactly.
Where
I'm telling you, bro, I really thought Cleveland was good enough. Like I think they're good enough to make a playoff run, maybe first, second round, but like.
I mean, Jared Allen's a good pickup for them, like future wise. You know, like I don't know how long is he? Do you know his contract? Like how long it is?
No, I don't have enough information on my heart. But I thought Jared Allen should have stayed in Brooklyn, and they should have fucking given up DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, but why would they want DeAndre Jordan? They got Jared Allen. Jared Allen's a better player.
But that's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't Brooklyn keep Jared Allen and toss DeAndre Jordan?
I mean, that's not how it works. They have to want DeAndre Jordan on the other side.
Fine, like I needs to get out, bro. his days are over, bro. He had a chance to get
Hey man, I want that guy to get a chip, man. I want that guy to get a chip.
DeAndre Jordan?
Yeah, he deserves it for the Lob City days. You're saying he doesn't deserve it for the Lob City days? You don't like DeAndre Jordan? What's wrong with him?
I mean, he can't shoot free throws.
I mean, he's a center, dude. Like, what centers shoot free throws well? Like, not that many.
Jokic.
Okay, well, you're comparing him to the best center in the league, and then you just named the second best center in the league.
DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, Boogie. Yo, don't talk about my guy Boogie, man. I'm happy for him this season. Okay, yeah, he can also shoot from behind the arc too.
Exactly. What can DeAndre Jordan give me, bro?
I mean, DeAndre Jordan, you're comparing him to like Boogie before he was injured was also one of the best centers in the league. So you're comparing him to the wrong people. But anyways, let's we stayed on that Cleveland trade for a little too long. Yeah. So let's move on to Indiana, which I honestly thought was like a sick pickup for them because they really they only gave up Oladipo and then they get a second round pick and LeVert, which I would argue is better than Oladipo right now.
Yeah.
But sadly, as a result, we found out recently he had an MRI. I forget what kidney. So he's out for the season, which
that's what they're saying.
Which honestly sucks because I thought he was gonna end up in Indiana and just go off. Cause I really like LeVert. I honestly didn't I was on the side of the people who were saying like, yo, Brooklyn should keep their bench and not trade for Harden. And then that trade happened so quickly, like came out of nowhere. So,
I didn't expect him to go.
You didn't expect him to go to Brooklyn? What do you think?
I didn't expect Karis LeVert to leave.
I mean, who were they gonna trade? Dinwiddie was injured. They only had Jared Allen and thing. Kyrie was MIA, so they're not trading him. Nobody wants that.
Kyrie should have been gone, bro. Kyrie should have been.
Man, gone. His trade value is low right now. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Oh man.
Nah, I feel like Brooklyn, they did a good job like getting James Harden, but the pieces that they gave up, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, they gave up a lot. Like ideally, I feel like you'd want to probably give up Kyrie, but like that wasn't gonna work out, and like you would want them to give up like DeAndre. It's like from the beginning it was always discussed like Dinwiddie, LeVert, and Allen were always like the trade pieces that had to be part of the deal to make it happen. And then obviously Dinwiddie got injured, which sucks for him because I felt like he would have had a nice season with the Nets. Like, honestly, the Nets, like, how they looked beginning of the season before Dinwiddie got injured, like, just the rotation they had with Kyrie and KD looked nasty. And, like, I could only imagine how that would be if they literally just swapped Kyrie with James Harden. That would be a disgusting team. But, like, they were already disgusting, but he'd be even more disgusting.
I'd rather have James Harden on the team than Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, so would I. Sure. I agree. I think he's like he would fit into the team, like better. But
KD, I'm not even worried about. But
yeah, KD, like I don't think nobody's worried about KD. He could play with anybody. Yeah. But yeah, so just ending off on the Indiana, what they got, like LeVert. Hopefully, when he gets healthy, I think that's gonna be his team. Well, maybe like behind Sabonis and. There's another player there, yeah. But, like, I think very soon that's going to be his squad. Him and Sabonis, probably. But,
I
hope he comes back healthy, too. So, I thought that, like, I was excited for him. Kind of sucks he got injured, but it is what it is. So, like, that kind of makes the Nets getting Harden look even better. And it also makes them a little suspicious. Like, did they know that this guy was injured? Like, you know, they didn't know he had that? Because if they did, that's kind of sneaky on their part, you know?
You already know how I feel about this, man. Like, I feel like they knew from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Shit like that just had to happen because he's been wanting to go. He's been wanting out. So, yeah.
Right. So, then moving on, we got Houston. Actually, did we go over Houston already? We did. They got Oladipo and the 4 picks. I mean, like...
Oladipo's still trying to leave, though.
Yeah.
He's still trying to go to Miami.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that. But if he fits... Like, I think he might fit nicely with the Rockets with what they got right now. If he actually sticks around.
You think him and John Wall can work?
I think him and John Wall can work with Boogie in there, too. I honestly want Boogie and John Wall to have, like, a good season. Especially because James just kind of left him hanging like that. And, like, you know how I feel about Boogie. I love Boogie, so... Like, I've been wanting that guy to make a comeback. I've been waiting for this, bro. So, hopefully he stays healthy.
The Sacramento days are long gone.
Yeah. I mean, man, he's still got a little something, you know? He's still got a little something. He's still... The talent is still there, you know?
The talent is still there, but I just don't see him taking the ball off a rebound and taking up the court. You know? Back then, he would do that. Now,
yeah. But he can still pass the ball. He can still shoot it. He can still finish, like, you know, like he's still got all the skills that you need to still be like an above average center, which he can be
for sure
if he's healthy.
Yeah, he can stay efficient, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's all really to say with the Rockets. Like I think I don't know if Oladipo, his debut was tonight or if it's tomorrow. By the way, it's Monday, January 18th. At the time that we're recording this, just to give you guys a timestamp. So I think Oladipo...
MLK Day.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to MLK.
My man.
So, Oladipo, I think he might have made his debut tonight, or if it's not tomorrow, because I think I was seeing some rumblings about that. So we'll see how that works. If he does really want to still get traded out, he might have to play nice on the Rockets so he can look good and get out of there. Or just, you know, if it works out with the Rockets, that's a good thing too. We'll see.
I just don't know what Miami would be willing to give up for him.
I don't think they'd have to give up much, to be honest. I don't think he's worth that much. That's why I'm kind of surprised that's all Indiana had to give up in that deal. But they weren't like the major piece. But they came away with, in my opinion, the second best player in that whole deal.
I mean, we're only saying that because Victor Oladipo has been injured for a while, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't seen him play for a while.
Yeah.
He was nice.
He was nice. Like, he could still be nice, but, like, he was injured. He's also older than LeVert. Like, now LeVert with the MRI, it kind of makes things different. But, like, before that, I was like, wow, that's, like, if I'm Indiana, I'm happy. I come out with a pick and LeVert for Oladipo, who just came back from injury. Like, that's pretty nice. Like, I know it was a second-round pick, which, like, I don't know how much value that has, but still, like LeVert for Oladipo straight up is still like a decent trade, and then you're coming up with a pick on top of it. Like I think that like I as soon as I saw that trade, I'm like, damn, Indiana came out of that like pretty clean for just giving up one player who just came off of injury. And then obviously, James Harden to the Nets. So, what were your initial thoughts, and did any of them change when after you saw James Harden's triple double debut, 32 points, 14 assists, 11 rebounds, I think. So he went off. And then KD also dropped 40, what was it, 42? Something like that.
42, yeah, that was snap.
So, so did your opinion change at all after the debut, or did you just think it was going to work out from the jump?
I always thought James Harden and KD was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Like, I imagining Kyrie on the court is just odd for me.
Yeah.
Because how is he going to get touches? How is he going to make plays for everyone else? Like, James Harden can score the ball and make plays for anyone else.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what everybody was like thinking of initially, right? It was like Kyrie get like the mix with Kyrie himself, and also them losing their bench to get James Harden. Like that was kind of the main concern. Like I was definitely on that first half of being like, oh, I don't know if I would like this trade, just because they'd be kind of wiping their bench and then also trying to make KD, Kyrie, and James work. I think KD and James by themselves, and even before the trade happened, I always thought KD and James by themselves would work and would work better than Kyrie and KD. But afterwards, after the debut, my opinion kind of changed. But for you, it was always kind of just I knew they were gonna work.
I'd rather have James Harden on court.
Yeah, even if Kyrie's in the mix, would you like that lineup better than what they had before?
I don't want Kyrie on the team, bro.
I mean, I don't even think the Nets want Kyrie on the team, to be honest. Like, I'm serious. Like, at this point, I don't even think the Nets want Kyrie on the team. But
like, the only reason why Kyrie should be on the team, I think, right now, is if I'm allowing him to come off the bench.
I mean, I would say the same thing, because I think I would rather have James playing PG than Kyrie. But yeah, man. So, but with Kyrie in the mix, would you rather have the lineup they had before with Kyrie, KD, and then having LeVert, Allen, and then Dinwiddie healthy off the bench, or would you rather have like their current situation now with the team they have? No Allen, no LeVert, still got Dinwiddie, but he's injured, and then you got Kyrie, James, and KD on the court.
That's tough. I feel like the situation they had before, the rotation is like there's more players, there's more depth. Right now, I feel like the last game they played, they had only 7 players active.
They also had like a ton of turnovers. I mean, it's pretty much clear that their goal is like, it's not about defense. It's literally just like, we're gonna outscore you, and that's what the team is. Like, we're so talented, we're just gonna outscore you every game, and it doesn't matter how many points you drop on us. We're just gonna drop more on you anyway.
Which is why I don't think they're gonna win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, I still think LeBron and the Lakers are better. Like, you know, I see LeBron fans out here being like, oh, everybody going to the East. Oh, everybody wants against LeBron. I'm 36. I'm 36. We all seen the meme.
That was a funny video, bro.
Oh yeah, man! Shout out to RDC for getting on ESPN. They deserve it, and getting recognition from LeBron. Love those guys. But yeah, I still think, like, you know, like I know they're like, it's all funny games, LeBron fans joking about stuff like that, but like LeBron still has AD, man, and honestly, like LeBron and AD, it's kind of funny to say, and this is how you know like LeBron's stature is where it is. It's like, I could see LeBron and AD, especially with the team that they have, matching up fine against the Nets. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm not even worried about that.
I'm not worried about it at all either. Like they were only the second players to ever be like both, like, have 2 players from the same team on the first team All NBA. Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Like, you could argue, I feel like the only reason people wouldn't say this is because of LeBron's age, but he's still performing. Like, you could argue this is his best team that he's ever had. But, like, you know,
which is crazy, because
people are going to say the Heat, which, like, I'm still leaning towards the Heat, but, like, I mean, like, all around, like, this team is just solid, and like his chemistry with AD is like better than any other All-Star. I know people are gonna be like, nah, Wade, like, yeah, but like AD's the best player he's ever played with, I think. So
Yeah,
like
I would argue that.
you would argue that. Who do you think it is? You think it's D Wade or Kyrie?
I mean, no. I feel like when it's gonna be all said and done, we're gonna say AD. But right now, I have to go with D Wade because of what they've done. You know, but
I just
we'll
feel like
see.
talent, like I don't know, like I love D Wade, but I just feel like talent and also like just the way AD can play off of LeBron, and like what LeBron does for him is just like they're just like such a nasty combo, and then like the team got better than the championship team from last year, so the Nets versus them, especially with them having no defense, like I get it, like if like someone on the Nets is just gonna score. And honestly, if you're playing against them, I feel like the player you let do his thing is KD because you're not gonna stop him anyways. So might as well stop the other guys, you know, like
nah, if the Nets face the Lakers, KD's getting stopped.
yeah. You think
Yeah,
KD's getting stopped?
AD's the only man in the league that can stop KD.
Yeah, and then who's guarding James?
Nobody.
Nobody's guarding James. Let James do what he wants.
You talking about James Harden or LeBron James?
James Harden.
Oh, KCP can handle that guy, bro.
KCP on James Harden. Okay.
Who's gonna guard LeBron?
Nobody, bro. Nobody could guard nobody on that team. KD probably would have to. KD would probably have to guard LeBron.
And then what? DeAndre Jordan would have to deal with AD.
Yeah, probably.
Baby food. That's an easy 30.
I mean, who else is gonna guard LeBron? I feel like KD's the only guy on their team who can like guard anybody.
Well, it can't be James Harden because that boy don't play defense.
Hey man, he gets some steals, okay?
Whatever. I'll give him credit.
His defense, he gets roasted for his defense too much. Like he's not the best defender ever, but he's not as bad as people make it seem. You know,
he's lazy.
It's just he's just lazy. It's when he decides to play defense. But my man just threw a tantrum. I would hope that he plays defense this year. You know, he just threw a tantrum. You better do everything you can on this team, or else diva.
KCP is gonna shut him down. Dennis Schroeder is gonna shut him down. I'm not worried about that guy.
Okay. Also, like other piece to the James Harden trade is I don't know if you heard the rumors, but I think it was confirmed that the Sixers had Ben Simmons and Maxey on the table for James Harden, which is kind of crazy because if I'm the Rockets, I'm taking that over whatever I got from.
Really?
Like, I don't know. They got 4 picks, which is like, that's a lot. Like 4 first-round picks plus Oladipo, but it's like Maxey and Simmons versus 4 first-round picks and Oladipo. Like, Simmons is the best player in all of that. Maxey looks like he's going to be nice, and you don't even know what those first-round picks are going to be. Oladipo, you might have to flip him, or he's likely going to leave the team at the end of the season when his contract's done, because I think his contract's done this year. So, like, I don't know. It's kind of a weird trade.
I mean, you're getting rid of James Harden to add a Ben Simmons, and I always thought Ben Simmons would work more, like, around shooters. Adding him to Houston... You already have John Wall to handle the ball, so I don't know if that would work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's more kind of like you come away with a player that's young that you can build around. Like, you don't know how long John Wall's there, right? Like, how many seasons he's gonna get under his belt, healthy, and if he is healthy, like what's to say that he even stays in Houston and doesn't just go somewhere else?
I think that's exactly why they got 8 picks, 4 swaps, and 4 first rounds. Yeah. And if they do trade Victor Oladipo, they'll get picks for sure.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I don't think I don't think it'd be that hard for other teams to acquire Oladipo, just given the situation. Like, he wants to leave. I'm pretty sure his contract's done, so it's kind of just like, why not trade him?
I just don't know if Miami's gonna be a good fit, because now you have Jimmy Butler, Victor Oladipo, Tyler Hero, Goran. You have a bunch of like 2-way players.
I mean, speaking of Miami, like, I want them, like, there's the rumors of them going for Beal, and I think that would be nasty.
That would be nasty. But I don't know. That's a tough one, too. Because now we're thinking of having Bradley Beal and Jimmy Butler on the same court at the same time. You see that work?
I can see Jimmy Butler work with anybody, bro. I can see
Really?
Jimmy Butler. I love Jimmy, man. He's been one of my top 5 favorite players in the league since his Chicago days. I love that guy. So Honestly, I think Jimmy, if his head's in the game and he wants a chip, which clearly they went all the way to the finals last year, so I think he wants it pretty bad, and the chemistry on that team is nice. I think he does whatever he can, to make that team work. And like Beal would be like a big scorer for them because they don't really have like a big scorer like that. You know, they kind of just like disperse the scoring across the team. Like whoever's hot hand is hot hand. Like yeah, it's Jimmy's team, but Jimmy doesn't need to put up points to like be an impact. Like he could score like 10 points and be fine. You know, like he'll play his defense, he'll participate. You know, he'll work hard every time he's on, every minute he's playing. And like if it ends up being Bam that night or Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson or Goran Dragic, whoever needs to score scores and they just win that way, you know. So, and like Beal would actually give them like a bona fide scorer, you know, like that guy can put that shit in the basket. Like he can ball, bro. He looks nice this season. Like
I just would hope that they wouldn't lose too much because they already lost what's his name, Jay Crowder to Phoenix, which was a big impact. Like he had a big impact last season.
Yeah, he did. He did.
So I don't know. I wouldn't even want them to lose too much for Bradley Beal. Because that boy don't play defense either. unless you just hit him. He loves that matchup, bro. He loves that matchup.
True. Well, I kind of want to move on to the topic of the Raptors this season and how they're looking. Ooh. So we're obviously, if you didn't notice from the Blue Jays, even though I'm not a fan of the Blue Jays at all, we're a Toronto-based podcast, so we're gonna be talking about the Toronto teams like pretty heavily. Obviously, we're gonna dip into other news in the leagues and other big happenings in the world of sports, but we're always gonna come back and touch base on home and our home teams. So, 2019 champions. Damn, that was a while ago. Oh, the Raptors are looking rough this season. When I tell you, I've watched more Hornets and Nets games than Raptors games this season. That's how you know. Like, I watched Raptors versus Hornets, and I'm cheering for the Hornets.
Wow, you're just disrespectful to the city, bro. You're
just
disrespectful.
Hey, man, I'm an NBA fan. I'll just watch whatever team. I've never been a Raptors
fan. Toronto Raptors fan.
Nah, bro, I'm an NBA fan.
Yeah? So you were cheering in 2019,
Of course I was cheering in 2019. I'm from the city. But
okay.
Obviously, of all the teams, you would want your hometown city to win. But, like, I'm not a Raptors fan. Like, I'm not upset if the Raptors lose one night. I'm just like, was that a good game? Okay, it was a good game. Like, I just want to see good games. I'm just an NBA fan. Like, I just want to see sick highlights of good games. That's all I care about. So, but yeah, obviously in 2019, that was an exciting moment. Very happy. Like, we had Kawhi on the team too. So as an NBA fan, you're kind of like, you're basically watching a star player dressed in your hometown's jersey, which is like when you're just watching highlights or watching games to see a star player play. You have a star player on the team.
If Kawhi would have stayed, would have gone back to back.
We might have for sure. Last year I thought we were gonna go all the way, but clearly that didn't happen. But yeah, man, the Raptors are looking rough. They're looking rough this year.
4-8. They're 13th, almost the second worst team in the league right now.
Yeah, that's and embarrassing. Like I know people are like, yo, no Siakam hate, but I'm sorry, man. That guy is not. He's not the star, man. He's not the guy. He's like secondary. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's not number one. He's not the star to carry the team.
Spin move, bro.
I mean, they also paid that guy. Like, he deserved it, but like now it's kind of looking like damn. Like,
I mean, he had to get paid because he won. What's that called?
Most improved. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He had a good year that year, and then like last season, I know he had a nice regular season, and even this year, like he's putting up points, but it's kind of just like. It feels like empty to me. Like, I know Raptors fans, this is the thing, like, this is the bias that you have when you're a fan of a team. Like, they see what the numbers he's putting up. My guy put up a triple-double, and everybody was excited. Like, that's the first triple-double of his career, though. You know what I mean?
They lost that game, though.
Yeah, and they lost that game, and, like, he missed a couple games straight. He missed, like, possible game-winning shots. Like,
2 games in a row.
Yeah, 3 games in a row. Like, it's like, things like that. It's, like, sometimes, like, just look at Russell Westbrook, bro. Triple-double. My guy averages a triple-double. Does anybody think that guy's winning a ring?
No.
That guy's not winning a ring. Pascal already has a ring. We'll give him that, bro. We'll give him that. But
my man Kawhi.
we'll give him that. But like I don't know, as like he's still a great player. Like you know what I mean. He has flaws in his games. His ceiling wasn't as high as what I thought it would be. Like I thought he had more to achieve, but and like once again still a great player. Don't want to bash the guy, but just like on a championship team, he's not number one. You know, he's not the guy, and I don't think he'll ever be the guy
at this point.
Yeah, huh?
I don't even think the Raptors have a number one, bro.
I mean, I would say he's their number one, but they don't really have a true number one. Yeah. So yeah, they're looking kind of rough. Fred, I know he started the season off. I don't know, man.
We're debating whether or not the Raptors are gonna make the playoffs. That's crazy.
I don't know.
Wow, I never thought that would be a thing.
And it's looking rough for them, man. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like at this point, super low-key, I think it's time to tank. Trade Lowry. Like yeah, man. I think it's like and not trade Lowry in a disrespectful way like they did to DeRozan. Like trade like don't disrespect the guy. Like come to him and be like, hey man, like do you want to go win another chip? Like what's a team we can send you to? We'll figure out a place to send you. You know what I mean? Like do him nice. Like send him to a contender so he can actually contribute and do something. You're keeping Fred. You're keeping OG. You're keeping Pascal. Unless you could trade Pascal for another star. People are saying trade Kyrie. Trade Kyrie to Toronto. you guys could have. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't want him here, bro.
You guys could have. Who's a bench warmer? Who's a nasty bench warmer? Who's a guy who never gets off the bench? You could have him for Kyrie.
Bro, fuck Kyrie. This guy's gonna come here and sage the place.
Hey man, the sage is good.
I love the sage personally.
I don't mind the sage, to be honest. I thought people made too much of a big deal about that. Like, who cares? My guy put some sage. What I care about is him going MIA for MIA, going to party. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like he could have just handled that so much better. Like, I feel like he was just told the management, like, hey, I'm dealing with some personal issues. Like, that's like one primary thing is just like telling your management where you're going, because it's still a job. Like, that's one thing. Like, I know people want to be super understanding and everything like that, but at the end of the day, it's like it's still a job. You know what I mean? Like,
he is the management. What did he say about Steve Nash at the beginning of the season?
Bro. Disrespect. He said we don't need a coach. We coaches. We're the coaches. I mean, he also said that he never played with a player who could hit a shot too. So he's also. So I don't know if you want to take. He also said the earth is flat. So I don't know if you want to take everything that comes out of Kyrie's mouth as fact. But
I can't take that guy seriously.
Neither can I, man. Used to be one of my favorite players in the league, and then he became a clown. But
how do you hit a lifetime changing shot and then become like this?
And then go to Boston, not do shit. Go to the Celtics. Then go to the Nets and need KD to come and help you.
Like, damn. Him and LeBron could have stayed together and seen something happen the year after.
He didn't want to be number 2, man. He didn't want to be his Pippen. That's a problem.
Man, you really have to toss that ego to the side.
Oh man, if I'm him, bro, that guy should kiss LeBron's feet. That guy should kiss LeBron's feet. LeBron won him the chip. He wasn't doing shit in Cleveland before then. He was nice, but like what?
Yeah, he was nice, but not championship nice.
Man, he would not have a ring without LeBron. And like, I'm not even like
Facts.
a LeBron lover like that. You know what I mean? I just you just recognize what the man is, like who he is. He's a great player. He's one of the greatest of all time. Some people would argue the greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time.
So yeah, but anyways, start off with the state of the Raptors. We're not about to become Skip and Shannon on here, bro. So those guys they come in, they're like, oh shit's getting kind of stale. Yo, you know what we should do? Yo, LeBron Jordan, man, start it off again. How are we gonna bring it up? Hey, how about you bring it up this way? How about you just bring up...
That's a hot debate, bro. That's a debate that we all need to have.
Yeah, but those guys... I mean, honestly, I think, like, LeBron wins one more chip and then it's over. Like, he's the GOAT. It's done.
I know, man.
Like, I think right now it's still an argument. I think it's still fair to have an argument because like just the 2 extra chips that Jordan has. If like, hey, you guys might have another GOAT. Some people say, was it usually Kareem or yeah, right? So
Yeah.
so you might have another GOAT, but like the main debate these days has been like Jordan, LeBron, and I think like the 2 chips like definitely makes a difference. The straight sweep, but then also like I don't think people give LeBron his credit for how many times he's been to the finals. Like I don't think he should be punished for losing in the finals. I think that's better than losing in the first round. So there's arguments to go both ways, and I think just like with the longevity, how many times he's been to the finals and the competition he's faced, I think like right now at 4 chips they're already kind of tied to me, and then if he wins one more, I think the debate is pretty much done. Especially like if this guy still has a couple more great seasons in him, like if this guy's gonna have 20 seasons of just amazing play for 20 years, like that's insane. So I think the debate is over after that. But I think
It's just
for
crazy.
right now, excuse me, is it's still like they're still kind of tied, just because of Jordan, like not only what he did in the game, but like what he did to build the game up and like make the league better and like shoe deals and all these things like they're both like iconic in their own ways, in different ways. You know what I mean? So I think it's
I'm hearing a lot of Jordan people say that now.
what
It's crazy.
saying what.
That now like it's more like they're iconic in their own ways.
Yeah,
Before that championship LeBron just won.
Yeah.
I'm just the GOAT.
Yeah, before
That's how
that
I was hearing.
championship, he only had 3 chips. You know what I mean? That's kind of tough. You know what I mean? You got Kobe with more chips. You got Jordan with more chips. You got so many people with more chips, and
Kobe
like
still has more chips. Jordan still has more chips.
yeah. So they still have more chips, but like now it's like when he's only 1 or 2 chips away from them, and then on top of that he has all this longevity and this many finals appearances and all that. Then the debate becomes like a lot closer, because then you can't just be considering chips, and 1 chip difference should not really put someone that far ahead. Like you're saying, you hear a lot of Jordan fans say that now. I don't think that's true. I think if you go on Instagram and you see like the actual true Jordan lovers, like the real Jordan fans, the ones who love that guy, like Skip Bayless, they know his middle name. I wouldn't know his middle name if it wasn't for Skip Bayless. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Like Shannon even started saying LeBron's middle name now. So
What is it, Raymond?
I don't know what the hell it is, man.
I think it's Raymond.
Is it?
I think so. I'm not sure.
LeBron
I have to
Raymond
check that.
James?
Might be.
If you're wrong.
Might
But yeah, do you know Dikembe Mutombo's full name?
Yo, don't test me with that shit, bro. Jean-Jacques.
What does that guy have? 11 names?
Something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I think like LeBron definitely, like when his career is said and done, like I don't think it's gonna be a debate anymore. But like for now, and like definitely before he won his chip with the Lakers, I was definitely like Jordan is the number 1, LeBron is second. Which like I also remember I've told you this before. I don't really get why people are upset at LeBron being second. I think that's already like, especially when he only had 3 chips, was like so much respect to him to put him above so many people who had more chips, or like, you know, whatever the case was, whatever the argument was for them, like to be someone who only had 3 chips and be considered like the second or first best in most people's opinions is like, that was already an achievement. And I think just like now he's got his 4th chip, he's 2 chips away. With a 5th chip, it's like, are we really gonna knock the man for 1 chip? Like, really?
It's because he's been relevant in the game for way too long.
He's been relevant for so long. Like, it's crazy. And I think it's kind of like now that like you're starting to realize his age and like where he's at, and like you kind of look back and you're like, you see some old commercials from like the early 2000s, you're like, damn, like LeBron James was already in the league at that time doing his thing. It's kind of crazy.
Exactly.
So, you know, you
And
kind of
now
just got to
when
sit back and appreciate.
When I talk to Jordan fans, the only thing they mention to me is like the 6 championships and then 2 years prior to that. So that's 8 years. LeBron's been relevant in the league for 18.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like, I think there's lots of things they argue, like, both ways. Like, I think it's also, like, I don't know about for other people, but, like, I feel like the whole, like, mentality argument, like, I know it's, like, whatever it means or doesn't mean, but I will say, like, the way I see Jordan react to people and plays and things like that, for some reason, like, that, like, excites me, and I endear to it more than like LeBron running to the ref and being like, yo, what the hell, and stuff like that. Like the only thing that would make LeBron so much more likable is if he just wasn't like he is coddled by the league a lot because he's LeBron James, and it's like the fact that the guy's only been ejected one time, like, you know, I'm sure that ref lost his job too. So like you know what I mean? You know, Adam Silver's like, yo, you don't eject that guy. He makes us money. Don't ever eject that man. But like, you know, it's like things like that. And I get the league has changed, so like LeBron just can't run through someone, and he has to flop and stuff because he's big. So like he won't get his calls if he just runs through it and takes it and stuff like that. But like, and I think LeBron is also like very much obsessed with being the GOAT, which is his greatest quality, but also his biggest downfall, because like he cares so much about it that like if he has any distractors or anything goes against it, or if anybody doesn't actually believe he is, like he seems like he stresses about it, and like that bugs him. Like, is that fair to say? Would you agree, or like you don't think so? Like, I feel like he's really obsessed with that. Like, he's really obsessed with like, I want to end my career and be the GOAT, which is a great thing, but when it like comes off of you like that, like an aura of like desperation, which I feel like it comes off with him sometimes, you're kind of just like, for me, like, it's not the most attractive thing. But like, if you strip all that away, and you just like look at what he does on the court and look at what he's achieved, like, yeah, man, he's amazing. Like he's yeah. like we should be glad that we even get to watch this man.
Yeah, I don't feel like at this point he has anything else to prove.
Like, I don't think so either. I think like, here's the way I like to look at it now, man. Like, I think you almost have to look at it like a Mount Rushmore of players, because like I do agree with like the era differences, and you know, just like what they did for the game, like Jordan, what he did for the game in terms of promoting the game and all that, like that wasn't really like on court talent and achievement. That was like, he was the first to get like a huge shoe deal, and he made like Nike what it is, and he made money for the NBA and things like that. And those aren't really like achievements as a player. They're kind of like achievements outside of the game, which is like, even you could talk about a player like Allen Iverson, who like never won a chip, but like all his impact that he had on the
practice.
Yeah. But like the impact that he had on the game culture wise and things like that, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes there's these other little side things that like players do that are like, that make them big and make them super popular. That's why like a guy like Jordan, who only had 6 chips, there's people who have more chips than him, but he's been considered the GOAT for so long. You know what I mean? It's all these like separate little factors, right? It's like who he was as a scorer too. Like, that's one thing about Jordan, who he was as a scorer, as a defender too. Like, those things were like big aspects of his game. Like, the guy won Defensive Player of the Year, and he made a couple all-team, all-defense. So like for most of his career, I think he was first team all-defense. And then also the mystery of his career, of just like the question of like, if he didn't retire both times, like if he stayed there for the seasons where he played baseball, and if he stayed after he won his last chip in 98, like how many chips would this guy have won, right? Like they were a hot hand, you know what I mean? He literally left, came back, and they were still hot. Like, that's crazy. So it's kind of like, if you remove that gap, and then I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna be like, you can make the argument he had some rest and stuff. That's like, but then you can also make the argument.
No, not even about the rest. It's just, to me, you remove LeBron off one team, they're a lottery team. You remove Jordan off one team.
I mean, he was only ever on one team, really. The Wizards don't count.
So we're not gonna count the Wizards. So we took him off the Bulls.
I mean, you take him off the Wizards. They're definitely worse. He made them better. Like, they were pretty bad. Then, like, if a 38-year-old is your star, like, there's problems on that team. But I mean, you take Jordan off the Bulls, and then like, they're not the Bulls anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
they still win 55 games.
Yeah, but then what they do in the playoffs when they get eliminated? Second round.
What team without
second round
LeBron
versus 3 chips, then 3 chips? Bro, you're right. That's what I'm like. This is all the factors that why he was ranked top 2 while only having 3 chips. Like, these are all the factors. Like the people he had to go up against, like the teams he had to go up against, him carrying, like, there's the Cleveland team when he was in Cleveland originally, and then there's also the Cleveland team when he was in Cleveland the second time when Kyrie and Love were injured. So like those are all the things where you have to give the man his respect, and that's why he has been ranked above people that he's like arguably had achieved less than in terms of like achieving the main prize and what people usually rank, which is like the thing is like people are always looking at chips at the end of the day. Like that's the major piece, that's what really matters, like, you know.
Yeah.
But like LeBron achieved so much besides chips, and that's why he was ranked number 2 in most people's minds. And I think like people gotta like stop being upset about their favorite guy being ranked like lower than they would rank him. Like I feel like, to me, if I love a player and I rank him like number 1 in a sport, as long as you put him in like your top 3 or something like that, then I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you're giving him his respect that he deserves. He's in your top 3. Like if you're doing like Skip Bayless and he's not even in the top 10, then you're just ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like then you're just ridiculous. Like being ridiculous is different. Being like respectful and being like, yeah, LeBron is my second all time and Jordan's my first, and like you have your arguments why. Like I feel like you have to sit back and you have to respect that. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing for a LeBron fan who says LeBron is first. But I definitely think that like Jordan fan or LeBron fan, I think like one more chip for him, and like I think the debate's done. Like it's just done, just in terms of longevity, competition, how many times he's gone to the finals, all that. You know what I mean? Like points, like this guy's like he's still performing at 36 in year 18. And it's ridiculous.
And he's playing all-time career-low minutes.
It's ridiculous.
He's playing 30 minutes a game. That's not LeBron, bro.
Man, it's ridiculous. That's all I have to say. The guy is ridiculous. But
I heard Mark Jackson say one more thing. I heard Mark Jackson say that he wants to play until his son gets in the league, so they can win a chip together.
And if he did that stuff, man, if he did that, like I think the debate is over for everybody. I think it's just like it's done. Like, you know what I mean? I think everybody considers him like the GOAT at that point. I feel like if you don't, because there's some people who just deny just because they deny, because they don't like LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, because like I said, LeBron kind of has like those aspects to his personality that are kind of annoying. Like people don't always like the guy who just like claims he's the GOAT and he's the king and all that, like off the bat. Some people love that. Some people are like, yes sir, like you're the guy, say it. And then some other people are like, man, be humble, you know. So there's like that aspect to it. I feel like the thing is with Jordan is I feel like the reason people liked him so much, like as a person, maybe like at least on the court, and maybe the older heads and stuff, they were more endeared to him. I think it was just because like he was a killer on the court, and he also just like dodged the media kind of for his own brand, because like, you know, we all know the story of like him, he had to sell the shoe, so he didn't support like certain causes and things like that, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to like dislike someone when you don't really know anything about them, really, you know what I mean? You kind of just see them just being an assassin on the court, and that's it. You don't really like, and like you see them smiling and being nice with fans or whatever, but you don't really see them talking about like themselves and stuff too much in interviews, and just being humble all the time. Put
himself out there.
Yeah, like, you know, like if you watch like a conversation about Mike talking about the GOAT and stuff, he'll just be like, oh yeah, like how do you judge the GOAT eras and stuff like that, whereas if you ask LeBron, he'd be like, yeah, I'm the GOAT. You know what I mean? Like, which is like, and like people don't like that. Like that rubs people the wrong way. Whether it's true that he is the GOAT or not, you know what I mean? Some people, you hear that and you're like, dude, like GOATs don't call themselves GOATs, you know? Like, so it's like, I think it's those little aspects to LeBron's personality and Jordan is why some people are like so obsessed with like keeping Jordan on the top. But then like once you erase all that away and all the extra stuff on the side, and you just look at achievements only, like if LeBron wins one more chip, it's not an argument anymore. But anyways, anything else you want to touch on that debate, or you're satisfied with this convo?
Nah, we good. I know over time we're gonna talk about that Jordan LeBron thing. So
yeah, you know. I mean, I said my piece, man. I'm pretty like I said, if he wins one more chip, the debate's over. Like it's over, and they're tied at the moment. So that's it for me. They're tied at the moment, and one more chip, and he's the GOAT. But
so you think they're going back to back?
I think they should go back to back. I don't think any team in the league is better than them right now. Bro, they're better than last year. They have the same. They literally brought back the same team but better. You know, so.
I mean, I would still rather have Rondo, bro.
I know. I was about to say too. Like, out of all the pieces they lost, Rondo hurts the most. But like, who really cares about Howard and McGee? Like, you know, like they lost Danny, I personally like Danny. I know the league has like some hate on for Danny for some reason. But like I love Danny. Like it's like yeah, maybe he's not scoring, but he's still defense. Like he still plays defense. Like I love Danny Green, personally. So, but anyways, I guess that's a
better
debate
than
for
Weston
another
Matthews.
time. Yeah. But anyways, I want to move on to some hockey, man.
Yes,
We've
sir.
been chatting about the NBA for a little while. So once again, obviously,
Leafs.
yeah, obviously we're in Toronto, so
Yeah.
fans of our teams. And one thing I will claim is I'm definitely a Leafs fan. Been a Leafs fan for a long time, so that's my main squad. So
He went through a lot.
let the roast begin. so yeah. So Killian, you watched the game tonight. Killian's actually like getting into hockey now, so
Yeah.
you'll kind of get the perspective of like a longer time fan, and then someone who's kind of just like digesting it for what it is, and like he isn't sullied by all the losses that we've experienced, the hate that you develop, because
Yeah, my heart is fresh.
for us fans, that Ottawa game on Friday, we see that and then it's like, the season's over. The season's
Wow.
over. That's gonna hang
Friday
over them
game?
for a while.
That Friday game was intense, man.
The Ottawa game, that was horrible, man.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing. I'm sorry, Ottawa fans. You guys are like one of the worst teams in the league. Like, even though like I like the players they have, I like the acquisitions they made. They're better than they were last year. They got a nice goalkeeper in Matt Murray, and then they got a nice rookie on the squad, and like they got nice little pieces. They have a player called Connor Brown who used to play for the Leafs. So I love him. So like
So
they got.
you're saying Ottawa should be the worst team in the division?
They should be the worst team in the division, 100%. They should be the worst team in the division, 100%. Like, worst team in the league, that might be a bit of a stretch. They're probably, like, bottom 3 or 5 teams in the league. Probably not the worst. And, like, they might surprise people, to be honest. They have a lineup that's capable of, like, surprising people. But they should be the worst team in the division. Like, if they're not the worst team in the division, then other teams underachieved for what they had. Because they don't really have star power on the team, and other teams do. So, we could talk about the division stuff afterwards. I kind of want to talk about like the game tonight since it's fresh. So the Leafs just played Winnipeg, won 3-1. You watched the game. What did you think about it? Like, was there any players that stood out to you? Anything? Like, what do you think about the Leafs? How they're looking so far?
I like the game tonight. I like Mitch Barnett's performance. He got he got 2 goals in today?
Yeah. Yeah, he scored 2 goals.
He got 2 goals in today. He played really well. Distributed. I think. Did he get the assist on the other one?
I don't remember. No, he didn't. Nylander did. Nylander had like a nice fake out where he got the rebound, and then usually off a rebound you would shoot right away to kind of like catch the goalie, but the goalie got over to the side quick and he completely faked him out and like faked the shot and kind of passed it off to John Tavares, who popped it in.
Yeah.
And he's
They had me stressed. They had me stressed in that second period.
Yeah, I mean, like, they dominated most of the game. They had a great game. Like, it was a solid all-around game, which is kind of why that Friday game against Ottawa is shocking, because you see them play a game like this, and you're like, why aren't you capable of that every night? But that was a very solid game. As far as my piece on it, and like kind of just like the whole season so far, I'm liking Wayne Simmons, who I don't know if you noticed him out there. He's
No, not really.
he's like the only black guy on the team. So, but he's a Scarborough man.
I didn't see him today. I saw him Friday though.
Friday, he got into a fight Friday, no? Oh no,
Yeah, that's
that
what I
was
noticed.
that was the Montreal game. That was their first game of the season. They got into a fight. But yeah, man, he's a vet. He used to score like a good amount of goals. He used to be on Philly, like that was his main team for a while. He's like 32, tough guy. Like gets into fights, scrappers. I love that guy, man. Like I think he was like a sick pickup for them. I think he deserves more minutes, to be honest. Like he looks pretty quick, well rested. He's been like injured for a while, so that's why he hasn't really been his usual self. But I love him as a player. He's looked good this season. Like wasn't too noticeable tonight, but like he's been noticeable throughout the season. The Leafs kind of have like a lot of young guys, and they need like those vets to get like scrappy and kind of like not only keep them in check but also like push other teams away and don't let them get pushed around, right?
Yeah.
Which it looks like they have confidence to do. Like you kind of saw at the end of the game this season, like they were kind of fighting back, which like they got in their argument there at the end when Mitch scored the open net and then the defenseman kind of hit him, which was like unnecessary, but at the same time you can understand he just like didn't want to let him get a free open net goal. So I understand the arguments of both sides, but yeah, like usually like last season they wouldn't really stand up for themselves. They would kind of just let themselves get pushed around and just like get ragdolled by people. So it's kind of like I think them having like a guy like Wayne Simmons on the team and then other vets like Joe Thornton he was playing with Matthews and Mitch on their line. If I had to explain him, he's kind of like a Dirk Nowitzki but without a chip. So he's still playing because he wants his chip. Like that guy's like 42. He's old as hell. But
that's crazy. I wanted to ask you though, how do you feel about John Tavares?
Oh, I love John Tavares. Like I mean, like the thing is with the team, the only thing that like bothers me about John Tavares, and this is one thing in the NHL, is like the salary cap is so important, and we don't have a luxury tax like the NBA, so we got to stay under the cap, and Mitch, John Tavares, and Austin Matthews are all making over 10 mil, which that's a really big contract in the NHL, and the salary cap's 80 mil, so we got 30 mil into 3 players, which is a lot for an 18 skater squad.
You say he doesn't deserve that?
No, he definitely deserves it 100%. It's just kind of like you kind of look at the team and then you wonder, because we also had Nazem Kadri, who was it was like Nazem Kadri filled up his role, whereas like John Tavares is an overperformer and like we're paying him to play less than what he is. So it's like, I love JT. It's kind of nice to have that many stars and stuff, but like Kadri is like the perfect second line center. So it's kind of like bringing a superstar off the bench, right, in the NBA. It's just like, it's like you would want him to ideally be a starter. So like, why you would rather have like a nice 6-man instead of having that superstar sitting on the bench, if that makes sense. So like Nazem Kadri, he was like a perfect second line center, and he's having a great. He's been playing well in Colorado, who's actually like the Stanley Cup favorites right now as their second line center. And I understand why he got traded, because he got himself suspended like 2 playoff rounds in a row by like hitting someone like illegally, and then he got.
He was doing some dumbass shit.
Yeah, he was doing dumb shit, and then he got ejected for the series, both times, like 2 series in a row. So then they're just kind of like, yeah, man, we have to trade you. Like you're not even playing for us anyways, so we got to get rid of you. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, man, I love JT. I think it's just like with all of the big players on the team, when they don't perform because of the current salary cap situation, like fans can't help but to be like, man, like you guys are getting paid this, like you perform. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's been really big on Mitch because he held out to get his contract. And like, I would say, like, as much as I love Mitch, out of all of the big 4, so there's Nylander, he's making like 7 mil. And then there's Austin, who's like worth every penny. Like you pay that guy whatever, he's gonna be a top 5 player in the league for like a long time. Like he's amazing, incredible, that guy. And some fans of other teams are gonna not like that. You'll quickly notice, like being a Leafs fan, nobody likes Leafs fans. Nobody likes Leafs players.
Is he top 5 in the league though?
Right now, he could be. He could be. Yeah, he could be.
Debatable.
It's debatable. I mean, like, it's debatable. Like, Crosby's kind of falling off. We'll see what he is. I wouldn't put him above Crosby yet, but, like, maybe soon. Like, I love Ovi, but, like...
They're playing tomorrow.
They're playing Washington's playing tomorrow?
Washington's playing Crosby's team tomorrow. The Penguins.
Oh, yeah? You're trying to watch that game?
I might give it a look or two.
Yeah, so definitely the top 2 are like McDavid, and then this guy called McKinnon, who's on Colorado. He's their first line center. And then like I feel like most people would probably put Crosby 3rd. And then there's a winger called Kucherov who plays for Tampa. He'd be probably top 5 as well, but he's out for the season. So I feel like you shouldn't count a player who's like out for the season as being top 5. Like you should just completely eliminate like players who are injured like that from your list. So then, like the question is, do you put Ovechkin above him? Like I would say like maybe, but like I think Matthews is capable of scoring just as much goals at this point. Like he would have been a 50-goal scorer last year if COVID didn't end the season. He ended on like 47 or something like that. So he would have been a 50-goal scorer, and a 50-goal scorer, even a 40-goal scorer in the NHL is like a big deal. And Matthews just like he's always like 30 plus, and like he should be a 50-goal scorer already if the season again shortened last year. So, yeah, if he's not top 5, he's gonna be top 5, and he'll be top 5 for a while. You know what I mean? If that guy stays healthy, the way like
how old is he?
He's 23. He's he's a 97. So,
damn.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's young, man. He's young. Like he's like not even prime yet, but he's just like he's that much of a great talent. And I feel like if he played anywhere else but Toronto, people would love him. But because he plays for Toronto, he's just gonna get shit on. Like Toronto's like the Knicks in the NBA. So like imagine if the Knicks were good, people would just hate that team. You know what I mean? Like they're almost like Golden State when Golden State was a super team. You know how everybody hated on Golden State and everybody wanted Golden State to lose. Like that's kind of just like kind of how the Leafs are. It doesn't matter if they're good or if they're bad. People are just gonna be like they're shit. So like you could be shit, they'll call you shit. You could be one of the best teams in the league, which if you're like true to yourself as a hockey fan and you admit it, they are one of the best teams in the league, at least on paper. So like I don't know. And Matthews is one of the big reasons for that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm
man.
surprised that he's only 23. He's top 5.
Like he's arguably he's definitely top 10, 100%. Like I'm not arguing with that. Like he's top 10 for sure. So, but yeah, man. So I kind of want to talk about like the Canadian division. So because of COVID right now, the teams have been segregated differently than they were before. And the Leafs got rid of a lot of teams in their division that were actually tough teams. So one thing that's been tough over the years is like we've had a lot of tough teams in our division. We had Boston and Tampa, who've been like two of the best teams in the league for the last like 3-4 seasons, and Tampa's like the best team in the league, or arguably now Colorado's pretty nice, but I would still say Tampa's the best team in the league, especially fully healthy, and they've been the best team in the league for like the last 3 seasons for sure. Most stacked team by far. And we had them in our division, and we had Boston, clearly, who everybody knows the history between Boston and Toronto. We don't need to repeat it. I don't need to have flashbacks, PTSD. So,
are you sure you don't want to? Let's talk about it, bro.
No, man, please. Please, I don't want to talk about it. Nightmares. That's nightmares. But,
Game 7 comebacks.
Man, it happened, like, we lost to them in Game 7 3 times. 3 times. We lost to them in Game 7. It's like LeBron too, like, you know, same idea, but like except it's a whole team and an annoying ass city that doesn't let you hear the end of it.
But it had to be Boston.
It had to be Boston, man. But yeah, so we had Boston and Tampa in the division, and they were like really tough teams. So the Leafs were always like usually the third best team, and they underperformed. So they're not gonna finish as the third best team because it's the Leafs, and they underperform as usual. But yeah, that kind of leads me into right now. We've got they split up the league into 4 divisions. So they've got the Central, the East, and the West to kind of split up the states into 3 pieces, and then they got the North for Canada. So the North Division, which the Leafs are in now, is all Canadian teams, and I personally think they're the best team in the division. And people might argue that they're not, but that's just like Leafs haters.
Who would they put first?
I don't know, to be honest, because I think like if you're honest with yourself as like who's the most talented team in the division, it's the Leafs. I think it's kind of like I think the division has like the Leafs, a bunch of like solid teams, and then Ottawa at the bottom. That's how I would kind of look at it, and that's not me trying to like diss Ottawa, man. I think they're gonna get better. Like they look like they're building a solid. Like their team definitely looks better than it did last season. But it's just like you just look at what you have and you do know where to determine they are. So
I mean, so if the Leafs are first, who's second? Who do you think is second person?
So if I had to rank them right now, I'm gonna rank all the teams, and this is where like the middle of the pack gets kind of muddy because like you could kind of rotate these teams however you like. So first team I think is the Leafs. And I think most people would pick that as the best team in the division. Are they going to finish first in the division? Probably not, because it's the Leafs. so they're going to disappoint and not finish first
You
in the
have
division.
no faith in them whatsoever.
Oh man, you haven't been a Leafs fan. You haven't been a Leafs fan, man.
Nah, they're gonna do well this year just because I'm becoming a Leafs fan.
Yeah, we'll see. Whenever I tell you to put on the game, they start getting scored on. So we'll see. I think you're bad luck.
Nah. They won today, bro. I can't say that.
So, but yeah, the Leafs would definitely be ranked first. I think they're the best team in the division, on paper for sure. And like right now, they're 3-1. So the stats would say so. That one game was a really, really bad loss and really embarrassing. But I'm gonna give it to them. And then second, I would rank Calgary, which I think that would be a hot take for some people. But Calgary, they have a solid all-around team, and like what they've been missing for a few years now has been a keeper. And they just got a nice keeper called Jakob Markstrom, who had a solid year last year. And he looks like he'd be a good addition for them. So we'll see how that carries out over the season. I think they're the second best team. I don't think a lot of people think they're the second best team. Third best team, which for some people is not a hot take, and for some other people it is Montreal. Montreal, I know you didn't get the chance to watch the first game of the season, but Montreal is a really solid all-around team. They just made some great additions last season. They added like good solid lineup players. Like they didn't add any stars, but they added like some solid lineup players. They got themselves a backup for Carey Price, who's been considered one of the best goalkeepers in the league for a long time, but he never had a backup to help him out, so he could get some rest. He would just play a lot of games, and by the time his playoffs would come, he would be burnt out. And he was kind of keeping that team alive for like so long. So having a backup will be nice for him. They added like tough players like Josh Anderson, and then they added Tyler Toffoli, which is a good lineup player that won some cups with the LA Kings. So I think they have a good all-around lineup, and they'll definitely look better this season. So I think they're number 3. And then fourth, who I think a lot of people would have second, is Edmonton. So obviously Edmonton has Connor McDavid, and then they also have Leon Draisaitl, who I don't know if you've heard of, but he's also a great player. And he was actually averaging more points than McDavid last season. They were both like top of the league in points on the same team, which is insane. But other than them two, the rest of the lineup is kind of thin, in my opinion. So even though they have those two players, and I think a lot of people would put them second just based on those two players, I can't rank them that high because first of all, they have no goalkeepers at all. Their net situation is horrible. Defense is questionable, and then secondary scoring is questionable. So for me, they're ranked 4th, and that's like there's better all around teams than them in the league, in the division actually. But because of McDavid and Draisaitl, they got to be ranked 4th. And
you
then
think McDavid should get out of there?
I mean, it doesn't really work like that in the NHL, man. He already signed his deal. And like when you're a star player and you're on a long-term deal like that, you're staying on the team. No
matter what happens.
Yeah, superstars don't really move around in the NHL like in the NBA. They kind of just all stay on like the team they were drafted on, unless their contract ends and they're a free agent and they dip. But even then, like they don't always leave. So, but yeah, that's my take on Edmonton. The next team is Vancouver, and I don't know if you've heard. With them, they have a player called Elias Pettersson. He's their number 1 center. He's super nice, like actually elite. I think even he's gonna be like a top 5 player in the league one day. Oh, he's nice, and he's younger than Matthews. He's like 21 or something like that. So, but he's really nice. Like he'll be. He's not like top 10 yet. But like he will be at some point, and he'll even be top 5. I think. Like, I think he's that nice.
You're seeing the potential yourself.
I'm seeing the. I mean, like people recognize the potential he has, but like yeah, I'm just saying like based off of my eyes, what I've seen, is just like he's just like sometimes there's players that they're just built different. Like you know what I mean? Like they just show up in the league. They're like kids, but they have an aura like they're 30 and they've been in the league. You know what I mean? They just show up and they're those guys, and he's like one of those guys. They also have like a nice sniper, Brock Besser. He's American, but he's had like bad health history, so he's been a problem for them. And then all around they got a solid lineup, decent keepers. They signed Braden Holtby from Washington, who used to be their starter, and he won the cup with them. back in 2018. But now they got a young keeper on Washington, so they let him go.
How good is that guy?
He used to be like top 3 best keepers in the league for like a long time, but he's kind of older now. Like I still think he's pretty good, but like most people would call him just like average, like solid starter. Then we got Winnipeg, who you saw play tonight. They got.
I didn't think they were that bad.
They're not that bad. That's the thing. I'm saying like Calgary, Montreal, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. You could rotate them either way. Like Winnipeg could be second or sixth. You know what I mean? Like that whole middle pack is kind of like super interchangeable. I'm just ranking them here because they have the best keeper in the league. They have a nasty attack with guys like Mark Scheifele, Patrick Laine, who you didn't get to see tonight because he was injured. Nikolai Ehlers, like Kyle Connor. They have a nice team offensively. They're very top heavy, but their defense fell off because they had a star player who retired, kind of out of the blue, last season, and then they just kind of had a mix and match parts on defense, kind of like players they brought up from the minors and picked up free agents and stuff like that. So it hasn't been like a super nice defense. And then they have who I think is the best keeper in the league right now, which is Hellebuck. So that's definitely
watch that guy.
Yeah. So they have the best keeper in the league and then a really good offense. So and their defense is just like not that great, which it kind of sounds like the Leafs a couple years ago. Not saying Freddie was the best keeper in the league, but he was a great keeper. So, yeah, there's that factor for them too. And then obviously at the bottom is the Senators. So, I kind of already touched on them. So, not too much more to say about that. But they look like
what if they end up second?
I mean, they could, man. They could surprise. They got one of those teams that's kind of like that. You know, like you look at the team, you're like, oh, they're not that great, but like they're not that bad either. So they could surprise. You know what I mean?
They got nothing to lose.
Yeah, they got nothing to lose. Like, so they could surprise. But like if on paper, like if any of these teams let Ottawa finish above them, like it's embarrassing for any of them. Like literally for any of them, they can't let that happen.
Damn.
That's why the Leafs lost to them on Friday was like so embarrassing because it's like you're getting talked up as the best team in the division and you're losing to the worst team in the division, one of the worst teams in the league, and you're supposed to be one of the best teams in the league. So, yeah, man. I think that's all I really have to say on the NHL. The Leafs so far looking good, 3-1 on the season, which we'll keep an eye on them and see how they do. Obviously, you have high hopes. Me as a Leafs fan, I just kind of take it day by day and go with the flow because I know better.
I'm saying this is the year.
You sound like most Leafs fans. Every year is the year. Last year was supposed to be the year too. Then Corona.
Nah, this year's the year. I started watching the game consistently. Watch.
All right.
You're gonna do a thing, bro.
All right, we'll see. Well, I'm thinking we should cut it here, brother. Anything that you want to add? Any other topics you want to like touch on before we call it a day?
Nah, I'm just happy we finally, got this thing started.
Yep, first episode in the books.
Yeah, we needed a platform to talk sports about the shit that we actually like talking about.
Yes, sir. So, we just wanted to say thanks to everybody who's watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the first episode, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.
Yeah.